How you doing? Welcome back to the video. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 psychological traps of alcohol moderation and how you can avoid them. I'll tell you that at the end of the video. Each one of these traps could be a few videos long, right? So I'm just going to give you the basics of these things here. First of all, let's define moderation. I think that term itself is a trap. What is moderation? And for me, it's an open-ended term because it doesn't say how much and how little is moderation. So you get to decide on your own whether or not the moderation is whether you're moderating alcohol, whether you're drinking too much or you're drinking too little. And you know, that's something that you can apply to yourself. Unless you're really going overboard, you can always say to yourself, well, yeah, I am moderate drinking, you know, I'm not drinking too much, I'm not drinking too little. So that's one thing that we can it's like a cognitive bias that we can use on ourselves. Another one is the units or standard drinks. You know, it depends on the person, it depends on the individual, how many drinks they have, how much alcohol is actually going in. Depends on your physical body, how your systems are going to cope and how they're going to get rid of the alcohol once it's in there. And also the first drink thing. I think the first drink, it lowers your inhibitions. So even if you say to yourself, well, yeah, I'm moderating my drinking today, I'm only going to drink 2 or 3 drinks. That first drink lowers your inhibitions. It changes your perspective. It reduces your reason a little bit. It increases your emotion, right? And maybe sometimes it increases your negative emotions. Maybe sometimes it increases your positive emotions. Either way, it's a drive to have more drink. I mean, for me, when I was sad, I used to want to have a drink. When I was happy, I used to want to have a drink. So it didn't matter. It alters your attitude, right? It reduces the time frame that you think about, you know. So once you have that first drink, it slightly reduces your time frame into thinking just about the present and not so much about the future. And it focuses you on short-term gain more than anything else. The drug you're taking reduces your ability then to say no to the second one, or the third one, or the fourth one. And all of these things happen, you know, your attitude alters a bit more, your time frame reduces a bit more, you start to focus less and less on long-term gain and more on what you can get right now. In a minute, your overall brain capacity dumbifies a little bit more the more that you drink. So by the time you've got to that second one or the third one that you said you were going to moderate with, it's very easy to go on to the next one and go, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. I mean, how many times have we said that, right? We're going to, you know, after a hangover, I'm not going to drink ever again. And then once the hangover is gone, yeah, let's go down to the pub. That kind of thing. So number 2 is, what are you truly moderating? What are you really moderating? Moderation is usually a reaction to something that's happened in your life. So it's a reaction to a pain or a discomfort that you're feeling. Usually a lot of discomfort, and usually a lot of mental pain that's happening. Most people see moderation as you're trying to moderate the alcohol, but what we're really doing is we're moderating the pain. You know, you really believe that moderation works because reducing the alcohol actually does reduce that pain, right? So think about it. When you reduce when you say to yourself, well, I'm going to moderate my drinking, you're doing it as a reaction to the pain that you're feeling. And you're going, oh, well, I've got this pain now, and whatever, the wife is at me, or the husband is at me, or I've got pain in my side, or this thing is happening to me, and I've gone too far here, or I've said something that I don't like, whatever it is that's causing you. And usually it's a build-up of this pain over a long time. And you say to yourself, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to moderate now until I get to a certain point, right? Or I'm going to moderate from now on. But you're moderating the pain, so as soon as the pain reduces, you're saying to yourself, well done. And reducing the alcohol actually does reduce the pain. So it's like one of these things that it works, right? But this is what I call the moderation loop, right? We'll talk a lot about this in Habits Feed 2. I'm not going to go too deeply into it here, but it's basically that you moderate for the pain, then the pain goes away and you go back to the old alcohol again, and then the pain builds back up again and you go back to moderation again, and it's this loop that you keep going round in. I mean, think about it. Think about how many times you've done this. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to moderate my alcohol use. You know, part of it is because you don't want to. give up the alcohol altogether. You can't, you fear and you're scared to death of what life would be like without this crutch in your life. But the other side of it is that, moderation doesn't work because it leads you round and round and round in this circle. Next one is where when you're railing against the habit, you're railing against the habit, but moderation maintains the habit, right? And what I'm talking about there is, think about anticipation, right? You're satisfying the dopamine relays, all this delayed gratification stuff, right? Again, it's feeding into that moderation loop. What's the point in drinking? This is where saying you like it for the taste really comes back and bites you, right? You get found out very quickly when you moderate, because people drink for the buzz, right? Everyone I know drinks for the buzz. They might not say they do. They might say, well, I drink for the lovely taste of this wine, but they don't. They drink for the buzz. Moderation doesn't give you the buzz that you want. It only gives you a watered down version of this. So because your habit is because you're not getting to that buzz, you are all the time feeding into the habit. You're pulling back from the habit, but feeding into it. You're feeding into you're confirming yourself that the habit has got a hold of you. You're confirming that the alcohol is the thing that you really want. You're confirming that the buzz is the thing that you really want, even if you don't admit it, right? Your body knows that, your mind knows that. Which leads us on to the next one, which is confirmation bias. This plays a huge part in addiction, in habits, in all structures of our belief, throughout our belief. And as long as the moderation loop is there, you're always going to be looking for information which confirms with or confirms your belief, right? That moderation is going to work for you. Confirms your belief that the moderate amounts of alcohol that you can drink are good for you. All of those kind of beliefs that you have, and believing that moderation can be won. It might not have worked in the past. I've tried to moderate in the past, but I believe in myself. I believe that I can do this. This is another aspect of the confirmation bias, is that we're ignoring all this contrary information that is out there that is saying to you, alcohol is shit. Alcohol is killing you. Alcohol is ruining your life. Push that out of the way, because we're into this mindset of instant gratification. We're feeding the habit. Every time we feed the habit, we're confirming that in our own minds, right? So, this confirmation bias is these ignoring contrary information. Most of this is happening in your head. So the stuff that you're ignoring, most of that is happening in your head, and it's a mental battle that you're never going to win. Now, the last thing I want to talk about here is what I call the complexity bias, and this is, can't believe that the lengths that I would go to, the lengths that I would go to think about how I'm going to do it this time, how I'm going to moderate my drinking this time. Not so much in complicated thinking, uncomplicated my mindsets, or really getting into detailed plans or anything like that, but just thinking about moderation as in terms of how much the moderation was complicating my life, right? Making my life complex. I mean, drinking is easy. You just go out there, you buy your drinks, you don't have to think about anything else, right? In order to moderate, you've got to think about this, right? But you're still in the grip of the alcohol. You're still in the grip of the habit. So you have to think about, I'm going to drink this much. I'm going to go shopping. I'm only going to buy this much. Then I'm not going to go shopping, or I'm going to leave my card. I've heard people saying, yeah, I'm going to put my credit card into some ice in the fridge so that I can't get it out. And all of these complicated things that people are doing in their lives, right? Don't have alcohol in the house. Only have a certain amount of alcohol in the house. Only invite certain people around. That kind of thing. Life is complex as it is, right? Trying to get towards that best possible version of yourself, and drinking alcohol, taking any drugs leads to complexity as well, right? Because you're building complexity in your life because you're stupefying yourself and not able to deal with life, right? It leads to you're going beyond the capacity of you yourself as a drug user. Think. Trading the instant hit for the overall capacity and capability that you could have had. So you're You're giving yourself this instant hit all the time. You're saying, oh yeah, I'm getting drunk, but I don't have to think about that. Eventually you get to the stage where you're getting drunk and you can't think about that, right? So you're trading off your capabilities in life, your capacity for reason, your capacity for thinking, your capacity for decision making and creativity and action. All of that is being traded off because you want the instant buzz. And from a general learning position, you can't learn when you're drunk, right? Alcohol's interfering with your brain, it's dumbing you down. And that extends into your sober life as well. You know, that's why I don't like using the word sober, because for me, sober was the time in between the times I was getting drunk. So there was drunk, sober, drunk, sober, drunk, sober. So I'm not sober now. I don't drink. It's different, right? So there's only so much time that you have, and everything that you do has got is a choice and a trade-offs. So I want to talk about the solution. And the solution is something called bright lines. And this is a clearly defined rule or a standard. And it means that you're clear on what you mean. There's no room for rationalizing. There's no room for rationalizing your brain. There's no room for maneuvering yourself out of it. You don't put the alcohol in your mouth. That is a typical bright line that we've got, right? This is the step and you don't step across that, and that's it, period. It's very clear. It maintains your attitude the way it is. It maintains this very straight and clear attitude. It maintains your perspective. It maintains your course. And it's the best thing. Not only have you won the battle of moderation, you don't never have to do the battle of moderation again. You've won the war, you know. And I can't tell you how much mental weight was lifted off my shoulders in the beginning because I finally stopped this poison. So now, if you haven't stopped drinking yet and you want to really get some help, we've got Habits for You 2, which is there. We've got our quick start preparation guide, which is free. Get that down below. And it's really to give you an idea of where you are in this journey, where you're going to go, and give you some clarity on what to expect after you stop drinking. And really to give you an idea of, you know, this is something that will build up your confidence and give you courage to step across that line. So listen, take care of yourself. I will speak to you again very soon in the next video. Onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.